This is a stimulus check, second stimulus check, and stimulus package update for this evening. Our third of 3 stimulus package updates. This is LALATE. Hope you are good and safe. Thanks for tuning in. As always, like and subscribe to this channel and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. And please hit the bell on the front of this channel so you get alert when we have another second stimulus check update. If you just joined us earlier today, we delivered early afternoon a stimulus package update about really great news about new loans, grants, free money coming your way. There's a lot of free money, and we had great updates from everything from the Main Street Lending Program to the CARES Act to microloans and a lot more. Second, later in the afternoon, we delivered a second stimulus package update about new developments for the PPP loan and great news if you want to withdraw money from your account but weren't able to. Now there are great new developments just announced minutes ago from the IRS that allows you to make those withdrawals in a way you never were able to before without penalties. Really exciting, hot off the presses details, and a shocking development about PPP loans. Boy, gotta watch that video. I'll drop in the links above. But we are going to get to now new questions answered about PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and UI Unemployment Assistance, which can pay you as little as $700 per week from your states from the months of March to July. We got a lot of questions about this, and let me recap for you. And it's really quite interesting and really quite fascinating. As you know, whether you are in PUA or UI, your benefits are going to be about the same. A lot of states have not been on the ball. And before we get to the details of the numbers, let me go over the states. If you're in the state of Florida, I really am sorry for you because your state is just not supporting you. They are not processing unemployment assistance and pandemic unemployment assistance. States like California, however, are doing them incredibly fast, and other states are doing them in lightning speed. There's some states that had security hacks, and now they're delayed. But the great news and the good news that you should feel reassured is that you get this money eventually. It does land in your account, and sometimes when it's backlogged, you get it in one big swoop. So how much do you get before we get to the nuances of how you get it? How much do you get? How much does this really pay? It pays a lot. It pays starting a base amount of about $130 to $167 plus $600 per week from the months of March to the month of July, every single week. But how do you get that? How do you get it? And what is it called? And where do you go to get it? And how often will you get the money? There is 2 arms. There is on the left UI, or unemployment assistance. On the right, there's PUA, pandemic unemployment assistance. They are both administered by your state's unemployment department. So that's where you go. You go to the state's unemployment assistance website of your state, and there you apply. Now, which one are you? Well, first of all, you're only one. You're not 2. And I get that question all the time. Can I get UI and PUA? No. You get one or the other. Which one are you? That's a really good question, because the answer is basically you can only be one. And in some cases, states are really putting you in the wrong one. My answer has been, don't worry about it. If they put you in the wrong one and they pay you, just go with it. There's a lot of misclassification that's going out there, and viewers should not worry about it if the state is paying you the correct amount. Just proceed with it. If, on the other hand, you want to know where you belong, here's the answer. So unemployment assistance is if you're a W-2 employee, if you work for Macy's or Home Depot. PUA is if you're an independent contractor, if you're self-employed. So how do you get the money? What is the process? So you go to your state's unemployment assistance website. States do it 3 different ways. It depends on which state you're in. In some states, you do one application, and that's all you have to do. It's the same application for UI or PUA, and at the end, it asks you something about self-employment, and that's how they know which one you want to be in. Other states have the forms separated, and so in those states, there's 2 ways they do it. One, some states, they have you just go right to PUA and only do PUA. In other states, they require you to apply for unemployment assistance first as a PUA applicant and get a denial before applying for PUA. Let me say that again, because that's a little confusing for some people. In some states, if you're UI, then you just do UI and that's it. You don't have to worry about PUA. But in those states, If you're PUA, they require you to get a denial of UI first before doing PUA. Why? I don't know, but that's what they want. So if you're an independent contractor, in some states, the states require you to get a denial for UI, obviously, because you're not an employee, before you do PUA. All right, so now you've figured out where you go. When you go through this process, you need to remember one important factor, and I say this all the time. For pandemic unemployment assistance, for PUA, you are never an employee. That word will come up. Employee, employer, employment. You are not an employee. You are not an employee. You do not have an employer, and you do not have employment because you're an independent contractor. So please, please do not list your employer as Uber or Lyft. Please do not list your employer as your own corporation. Please do not state that you were employed during that week. You are never employed. You are self-employed. Employment for the purposes of these websites is referring to only a Macy's situation. You are the employee, you sell merchandise at Macy's, and your employer is Macy's, and your employment situation is you work at Macy's. You do not have any type of that language when you are PUA, when you're self-employed. Okay, all right. So you go into your state's website and you certify and you apply. When you're approved and you have an eligibility approval, then you'll see it on the website. And I encourage you to sign up for electronic notification. When you have that, then what happens at that point is that you are approved for eligibility of your claim, generally from the period of which you started from to December 31st, 2020. Some states do it differently. What does that mean? It means it's sort of like an insurance claim. You know, when you have a car, that you have in a car accident and you put an insurance claim in, and then they say the claim has been approved. It's the same thing here. The claim has been approved. You now have an approved claim. All right, so where is the period of issue? So when you apply for the claim, you have a period of eligibility, a window of eligibility. And when does it start? It depends on the date you give them. So that date, that first date in March, presumably, is very, very, very important. What is the date? Well, if you got COVID, if you contracted COVID in March, it's that date. If you were laid off in March, it's that date. If you had a lockdown order that prevented you from working, it's that date. If you had a lockdown order that reduced the number of hours you work per week, it's that date in March. Now, if you're going to the website, because you're watching this video as my eyes really itch this evening, sorry about that, and you apply today, you know, your window start, and you say, wow, I was impacted on March, 20th. Your window is March 20th to December. It's not from today. So then you wonder, okay, well, the guy in the red shirt that looks like a soccer jersey, and it is, told me I have this window from March to December. How does that work? So what happens after that is if you're eligible, you've been approved, your claim has been approved, you need to certify for benefits. What does certify for benefits means? It means you have to go into the website of your state, and it'll ask you what happened in the week starting March 20th. What happened in the week starting April 4th? What happened in the week starting May 2nd? And so it'll guide you through a series of questions. What it's doing is to determine whether or not you are eligible for benefits that week. This is so important, and it was one of our earliest PUA videos. If you don't do this step, you don't get any money. You literally don't get any money. So just because you got a claim, hey, I claim it's approved, the claim is approved, doesn't get you a penny, because you have to certify for benefits that each week that you're impacted. So what does that mean, certify for benefits? So you go in, let's say it's a week in March that you are not working because of COVID-19 for whatever reason. Well, you go in, and that's a week you're entitled to benefits. Now, when you're answering the questions, you need to remember the answers to two questions are very, very critical. The first question that you need to listen and watch for is the one about mental issues. It's something like, would you have been willing, if offered the ability to work, would you have been willing to work? See, it's asking a mental question. Would you have been willing to work if offered the ability to work? Answer is yes. You always answer yes to that. Next is a question about physical ability. If offered the ability to work, would you have been physically able to work? Answer is yes. You have to answer yes. Answers to no to either of those questions will render that week ineligible because they will say you're ineligible for benefits. All right, so now you've gone through that. Did you work that week? Answer yes or no. If it's no, then the answer is no. When you're done, it will then say processing on another tab of your portal. And the processing amount will be the base level benefits of your state, which can range from anywhere from 139 to 189 or 190 maybe in some states for base level benefits. That's your base level benefits for that week. The federal government's going to give you $600 on top of that. Now, here come all the great difficult questions. Okay, I worked a certain week. How much money do I get, and does it reduce the benefits? Okay, so it's very, very complicated, and we're going to get to that in some of the questions. So if you go in and you're going through the questions, ask, did you work last week? And yeah, you worked that week. And how many hours did you work, and how much money did you make? Oh, I made $85. So it'll take the $85, go put it through a calculation system, and then it'll spew out amount of benefits, or say that, hey, you made $50,000 last week. We ain't paying you any money. It'll come to a calculation. If you don't know what it's going to do, you can go online and Google, because there are online calculators that'll do this calculation for you before you even go and input the information, so you can get the answer ahead of time. It's great news. So if you come out with at least $1 from your state that week, you'll get that $600 from the federal government. You need to do this each respective week that you're impacted by COVID-19, and you get that $600 from the federal government into the month of July. What happens after that is really a big topic of discussion. This channel believes that $600 from the federal government will be extended under the HEROES Act, or another version of the HEROES Act. As you know, the $600 from the federal government is running out on July. So that means after July, if you're still impacted by COVID-19, you would only get your state benefits, which can be about base level benefits, about 169 to 189. I haven't covered in this video yet the escalation of benefits. Escalation of benefits is where if you made at least $30,000 in last year in 2019 tax returns, then you can escalate benefits. States are very reluctant and slow and bogged down on doing escalated benefits. And the reason why, because it's more money to you, which they don't want to give. And it's about $300, $400 per week instead of $150 approximately per week. It's a big difference. But when the CARES Act expires in July, so does that $600 from the federal government. So what's going to happen after that? LALATE believes that those $600 will be extended. I absolutely believe it. I don't think that in lieu of the way that the COVID-19 situation is as of even today, if you watched our video earlier, the first wave is coming back very badly. Florida and Arizona today and yesterday reported their single worst number of new cases for COVID-19 ever. So in those environments, I mean, why are we thinking that we're not going to extend $600 per week? $600 a week is for people who contract COVID-19. If you contract COVID-19, you'll get the $600 per week and you're $139 per week. Why are we not extending the benefits when cases are going through the roof? It is one thing for Mitch McConnell to say he's worried about a welfare state. Well, it's also another thing to say, hey, people are contracting COVID-19 and we have these benefits for exactly that situation. I haven't even gotten to the people who aren't contracting COVID-19 but are impacted by COVID-19. But let's get to some of your questions. So H2O, double check with my statements. They said I have to keep certifying even though I'm working until the end of December when my account closes for independent contractors, so I don't have to open another account. It works. So this is a really complicated question, and I don't want to do it now, but I'll just pose the question to you. And drop in the comments below if you know the answer and which state you're in. We detailed yesterday the real big issue of, hey, you're approved for PUA, for example. You go back to work. You don't ask for any more certification of benefits because you're working. Do you have to report every week, even though you don't want the benefits, or do you just sort of ignore the whole situation? And then if you're impacted by COVID-19 again, then you sort of pop back on the frame. It's unclear yet. This viewer said in their state you have to update them every single week, even if you don't want the benefits. Here's another viewer. In California, if you make 25% or more than your weekly benefit, then you do not get paid state benefits. Okay, so he's saying if you make at least 25% or more from the weekly benefits, you won't get a penny. But if you get under that, you get $1 and $600 from the federal government. Political Lil. I don't get any of the update notifications before I miss the bombshells. So hit that bell in the front of the channel. I should have done this way or somewhere here. And then you'll get an alert every time there's a new video that comes alive on this channel. Mimi McSwain, contacted by the people on the email list 2 days ago to go get my back pay of my car and snag 6 months insurance. I don't know what that has to do with this video. Stacy V, love watching you. I'm in Nevada, still waiting for my money. I was approved for PUA and certified all my weeks. My claim says unresolved issues. Yes, but it's impossible to get through. I don't know what unresolved issues means. That sounds troubling. Usually when it says pending, that means pending payment, but the other one, I don't know. Tank Dog, I'm still waiting on my escalated benefits, as most of Americans are. I definitely qualify for the maximum upload proof. It's been 7 weeks. I hopefully hear back. You know, if you've gotten paid escalated benefits, tell me that you have, and tell me what state you're in, because I have heard no one that's gotten paid a single penny of escalated benefits. It's a real shame. Eileen, I got approved for PUA. I'm waiting on my car, flown to post office, $8,000 on it. Crazy. You can't track it or nothing. Just wait 7 or 10 days. $8,000? I think Eileen is one of those states. I can't remember what she wants, but she isn't getting any PUA, and she did since March. So yeah, we're here in June. Boy, congratulations, Eileen. Marina, thank you, who've answered all my questions. It was so confusing. It is confusing. Karina, I just ran into an issue. I started applying through regular PUA in first month of March, and my PUA was supposed to be retroactive back to that day. I'm already confused. You can't be in the two systems at the same time. Julacey Williams, how do we do our unemployment benefits? What do we do when our unemployment benefits run out? It's so confusing. We did that video yesterday. States have a state law to extend unemployment benefits even though the CARES Act runs out. So you have the federal benefits and you have the state benefits. Then you have the extension from the federal government and you also have the state extension for the benefit. Bottom line is, don't worry about weeks running out. States are taking care of that. That's one of the few things that they're taking care of. They are taking care of the extension of weeks. Now, how many weeks your state is giving additional weeks of extension, just Google it. Victoria, what happens if I receive PUA and I broke my leg and I really can't work? How do I answer the questions? Boy, if you are unemployed as an independent contractor and would normally be qualified for PUA, and now you physically can't work because you tripped and fell trying to get a scarf to watch one of my videos, I don't think you're going to get any PUA benefits that week. Really unfortunate. You're going to have to say, would you have been able to work? And the answer is no, because you have a broken leg. That's assuming your job requires you something that you with that leg. I mean, if you could have taken an Uber or Lyft driver who got a $200,000 loan, watch our video above, to get to work and still could have worked then the answer is yes. So I don't know how the leg impacts your ability to work, whether, unless maybe, you plant crops or something, or, sell, you're a foot model or a leg model. I don't know. Marcus Suri, a PUA is the same amount for UI. PUEC is the extra $600. All these words. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Thank you. I said it correctly. Thank you. Jessica Fletcher, what if you both, this is actually what it says. What if you work for a big company, but you're also an independent contractor? Okay. I got all these questions back in the day when we first started PUA. So the easy answer is, and I'm going to do the easy answer because I'm tired. If you are both are a Macy's employer, and also if you're both a Macy's makeup salesperson on the first floor, and you're also an Uber and Lyft driver, and both jobs are impacted by COVID-19, that's the easiest one. Just choose which one is the dominant job when you go to do your tax returns. So if Uber and Lyft is really only paying you like $3,000 a year, but Macy's paying you $85,000 a year, then do UI. If Macy's pays crapola, only pays you like $10,000 a year, but Uber and Lyft, you're taking home a cow like $110,000 a year, then do PUA. it has to be one or the other. Now, if one was laid off and one was not laid off, I'm not answering that because that's too darn complicated. And who knows if there really is an answer to it as well. Jeremiah applied for assistance on July 11th. Okay, so he's recent. And I just became aware of PUA since I was a wedding photographer. My business was impacted in March. Many cancellations due to COVID-19. So that absolutely qualifies. So you are what's called independent contractor, reduced amount of work. Remember, for PUA, I don't think I mentioned this before, PUA, you don't have to have no work as an independent contractor. It just has to be a reduction of work. I checked my status on the EDD website, so he says EDD, he's in California, that's California's EDD, and it gave me eligibility date of 6/7/2020. Also, I have a balance of $3,000, but I applied for benefits in March. I was expecting a bigger payout. Will they eventually back pay me? Two possible answers. If you go to your eligibility window, and this is the same for any other viewer of this channel, if you go to your eligibility period, which I was talking about earlier in this video, and it says eligibility period is June 7th to December 31st, you messed up. You didn't fill out the form right. And no, they're not going to do retroactive benefits because they think you were impacted by COVID-19 on June 7th going forward. If you go to that eligibility window and it says March to the present, then you did it right. Then they understand your eligibility was triggered in the month of March, not in the month of June. So if you're watching this video and you're wondering how you can correct it, I don't know. I really don't know if there is a way to correct it. And I know in a lot of states you can't get them on the phone. So I'm sorry. It's things like this, reasons that we make videos for you like this. Because in this case, I don't know if this is the case for this individual, but imagine two numbers. Instead of putting 320 or something like that, he put 67. He could potentially now lose March, April, May, that's 12 weeks of approximately $700, $3,500 mistake. Amazing. By just not tuning into this channel. That's how fluid the situation is. That's why we're really trying to help you get through this mess. And if you do make an error and you try to fix it, I don't know that they fix things. The best thing you can do is get them on the phone and maybe try to hustle them to fix it. Assad, I was denied UI because I have a part-time job and I'm still employed, but I work as an Uber and Lyft driver. They told me I don't qualify for PUA. Is that correct? No. But we've been detailing this extensively. If states are saying PUA, are saying Uber and Lyft is UI and not PUA, it's not. It's PUA. I'll tell you what's going on here. Uber and Lyft call you an independent contractor. You know that. They don't call you a W-2. You know that. States think that is illegal. Not what you're doing, but Uber and Lyft. That's why states are suing Uber and Lyft to have them classify as UI. I don't know why states are classifying you as UI, not PUA. I think they're trying to do is to say, hey, I don't care what Uber and Lyft is doing. We're forcing everyone into the UI system. Each state is doing it differently. California, they're suing them. Bob Gabriel, great updates as usual. Nothing on the Florida portal. Awful. Patrick, I live in Oregon. I applied for PUA several weeks ago. I got an email saying they were seeing my application. Will get back to me for more info on a gig worker. What do I do next? You just have to wait. Call them on the phone, but you have to wait. Chris, after the comment filings, are you fully employed again? Every state is different. You need to check with your state on UI. Yeah, that's that issue of going on and off of unemployment. I don't know. Leanne, it's LA again. Oh my God. I've tried every avenue, confirmation, retroactive pay with no success. I think states will get to it if you did the right weeks, and if you certify for benefits. Some states aren't allowing you to certify for retroactive benefits. You think they're doing that on purpose? I think they are. They just don't want to pay you. George Dawson, I contact your senator. George Dawson, I get $840 a week in Arizona. I make when I work $1,000 to $3,000 depending on the job. I'm giving up some of the IDL. I can't get the $10,000. Great job. See you on the next one. I'm hooked on them. Well, thank you. If you need help on PUA, drop your comments below, George Dawson. Thank you for your comments. D. Miro, you can file if you're unemployed or underemployed. So many states have a W-2, but their 1099 is terminated due to COVID-19. Yes, very well said. Nike, we need more money. Latest July. JB, give me money. State of Maine has put their income into any odd jobs, not underemployment work. Terry, yes, this is true. You should keep your weekly certification in case we get shut down again. I don't know if 1 week off certifying will close the account, but to have it go through all this again is ridiculous. I'll keep certifying until December to keep my application open. So that's an interesting point. Tell me what state you're in and what you think about it. I want to hear this because no one's explaining this. I mean, we're helping each other on this situation because this is very confusing. This on and off of certification. 72 Capital. Can you still be eligible for PUA if you have one W-2 part-time job and also sell goods on eBay as a part-time seller? Can you claim that you were affected as an eBay seller even though you still earn salary from other W-2 jobs? Well, I mean, what is the eBay seller? I mean, if the eBay seller is just here and there and sporadic stuff, and you're really, making $150,000 as a W-2 employee, but you're making $300 here and there selling used cell phones. I mean, you know what the nuance of it is. What is the dominant thing that's going on in your life? If yes, then yes. If no, then no. You're scheming. WAWI. Not saying you're scheming. I'm just saying in general. That's, AWC. I know an Uber colleague who was working while collecting on. I don't want to hear about these Uber people. There's some bad people. I'm not just saying even Uber people. I don't want to hear about bad people and their bad stories. Can a person receive both PUA and EIDL granted loan? Yes. Can you receive PUA and PPP? No, those conflict. Be careful with that. T. Grayson, to the viewer asked about if you don't certify and go back to work. If you go back to work and don't certify, what will happen is the claim is good for a full year from the date you started. You'll have to reopen the claim at the point that you're laid off. I think that's correct. I'm sorry, that was Sean Lasses. I think it's very well said. You are eligible for the entire year. I don't think they're going to close the file because they haven't heard from you for a few weeks. I mean, maybe some states just love to close you out completely, but Tank Dodd. Here's another calculation. Yes, THC, I'm in Oregon. I'm waiting on PUA for 10 weeks now. Awful, really bad. I mean, Florida hasn't gotten a penny. Poor Richard. This is ridiculous. And his discussion of extending UI benefits is his incentive to go back to work. No, there's some viewers who really don't have a job to go back to work. There is some people that are using the system in a negative way, but there's some people who just don't have a job, and there's other people who contract COVID-19. They're contracting COVID-19 every single day, and they need the PUA. Unseen Hero, my certification doesn't give me a way to certify for any back weeks, and I'm in Nevada. Nevada viewers, if you're listening, tell me how you do back certification. I don't know what's going on with your state. Samuel, Missouri, I don't know about that as well. At least if you have COVID-19 or taking care of someone with COVID-19, you can apply for PUA benefits. It depends on the state. I mean, absolutely, if you have COVID-19, you can apply for PUA. If you have questions about today's second stimulus check video, drop them in comments below. This is our third of 3 second stimulus check videos today. Boy, I hope you enjoyed them. I did. As always, stay with LA for more.